Welcome back to the podcast, everybody, and Appalachian Trail, summer 2025, day 6. It is a nice, light, rainy kind of day this morning, and I just left MA 23, and today I am headed 12.3 miles to Tyringham Road, or in far out it has it as Main Street. And y'all, today is a very special day because this ends section number 1 for me. So I believe this section has been around 53 miles. Connecticut, Massachusetts. And when I am done today, the next section of trail all the way up through Vermont 103, I have already hiked twice. Once in 2009, the second time in 2014. So we are going to be in the van, headed up the road to the Rutland-Killington area. And that is where we are going to settle in for the next few days as I hike starting at Vermont 103 and moving on to section 2, which is Vermont 103 to Lime Dorchester Road. And that begins tomorrow. But before tomorrow, we have today. So I started at northbound mile marker 1,536.4, and I will be ending at 1,548.7, which does make it a 12.3 mile day. Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath going uphill. Looks like we have, over the course of those 12.3 miles, 2,500 feet of ascent and 2,600 feet of descent. And from what I remember, but we're learning, y'all, I really don't remember. There's always a surprise. This day did not seem like too bad of a day. Our first marker is going to be Benedict Pond, and then we are going to end the day going through some farm pastures. And then when I make it to Tyringham Road, it will be 485.6 miles to Katahdin. So we are moving and grooving in that manner. And in another manner, I gotta be honest, I am feeling the soreness and stopping what seems like every 10 seconds going up this hill to catch my breath. But y'all, that is to be expected. Day number 6, the fatigue will set in, and then at some point you'll get stronger, or I'll get stronger and stronger, and then those trail legs will kick in, and I am looking forward to that. So like I said, it is raining, but I do have my umbrella in my left hand. It is not open, and my pole in my right hand, because this green canopy is somewhat protecting me from the rain. So yeah, that is where we are at this morning. And last night, that's what I wanted to tell you guys. When I got to MA 23, a gentleman by the name of Pokey was there, and apparently Pokey is the one helping put out some water cache and a little bit of trail magic through this section. So we had a good conversation at the trailhead. We talked about the cookie lady, and he told me now there's a cookie lady 2.0, and I guess there's a Southern cookie lady. So who knew? But I think that is awesome. And we just chatted about trail and just overall had a good conversation, and then got in the van and went into Great Barrington to the glorious Holiday Inn Express. Took what seemed like an hour shower, had some good food, had a good night's rest, somewhat got the van situated, did laundry, and so we will be off and rolling again once I am done with today. But we got a long way to go. I bet I am just barely over a mile into today. So y'all, once we get rocking and rolling, I'll be back to check in and fill y'all in on what's happening for today, or what has happened for today. Y'all, if you're listening to these episodes and I sound twisted up and crazy, that's what we call trail brain. I'll be back. All right, y'all, I am back again. Just put the microphone away, and then I remembered something I wanted to tell you guys. So a couple things, couple questions or things that have happened. Statements. Yeah, a couple statements. So over the past few days, I've had a couple different people, when I see them on trail, one of the first things they say to me is, "You're not through hiking, are you?" As if it's a question. And I don't think I've ever been asked that before. So I don't know. I don't know if I just don't smell enough or my pack doesn't look heavy enough. So what does that mean? You're not through hiking, are you? Question mark. I have no idea. Maybe if somebody asks me it again, I'll say, what is it about me when I come upon you that I would not be through hiking? Anyway, no big deal. I just found that interesting. Just a comment. No big deal. And then when they asked me that, I said, nope, I'm section hiking. And this is my 20th summer out on the Appalachian Trail. And usually when I say that, it gets that person in the right frame of mind. I don't know. And then this morning I found hilarious. I got in the elevator at the hotel to go down and get some coffee. And very nice gentleman and his wife were on the elevator as well. And he said, "Man, you look like a golfer." And I said, "Why, thank you. I appreciate that." And then I said, "Well, not really golfer, but hiker." So anyway, two things that have been posed to me are, "You are not through hiking, are you?" question mark. And then this morning, I look like a very strong golfer. So anyway, y'all, just something to laugh about, have fun, and just to think about. Anyway, if anybody's got any answers, let me know. All right, talk to y'all soon. All right, y'all. It is about, I don't know, I'm about 6 miles in, about halfway through by day, and it's still raining. Just been one of those days, off and on rain, and I hadn't seen anybody. Y'all, this rings true for me every time. I was getting ready to get to a point where I was like, all right, I need to stop, use the restroom, you know, get a couple more snacks out. And it was by the North Wilcox shelter area. And for those of you listening, about halfway through by day is the North Wilcox shelter area. And I've got my umbrella in my left hand, and I've got my pole in my right hand, and these two guys and two young teenage boys come up from the shelter. I swear, as soon as I was getting ready to start the process of going to the restroom, here they come. And the first guy goes by, "Good morning." I said, "Hey, good morning." And the second guy, he made a beeline toward me, and he was like, "Oh, I see you have an umbrella." I said, "Yeah." I said, "It works pretty good. I'm totally dry underneath. Don't have to have a jacket on. You know, it works." And he's like, "Where are you going today?" And, you know, I told him I was going to Tyringham Road, and he was like, "Well, we're doing 15 miles today." And I was like, "That is awesome." And I must have sign on my forehead that says, please tell me what to do, because he proceeded to tell me how he has seen, through hikers, attach the umbrella to their pack. And I said, oh, like utilizing this strap right here. I mean, I have an attachment that I can use. And even after I showed him that, he proceeded to tell me how to do it. And I just let him do it. I was like, oh my gosh, what is it? I would never, ever go up to somebody I have no clue, never met before, on the trail specifically, and tell them how to wear their gear when he has a big old poncho on that looks like it's from 1972, which is fine. Totally fine. I would never go up to him and say, well, you put your poncho on the wrong way, and I've seen a lot of people do this, and blase, blase. Again, there's a third question of the day. Why do people feel like they can come up to me and tell me how to utilize my gear because they have seen other people do it? I don't know. All right, that's just a rant. Anyway, I said, y'all go ahead of me, and I just stayed back, and I was like, I can't be around him and listen to that all day. He must be a gearhead. There's lots of people out here that all they want to do is talk about their gear and gear and gear and gear. And I'm just not interested. Anyway, I'm nice and dry under my umbrella. Sometimes I have it clipped. Sometimes I like to switch hands. And it doesn't matter. Everybody hike your own hike. And if you like to tell people what to do on the trail, stop it. All right, y'all, I am back. It is still just slightly raining. That's what it's been doing pretty much the entire hike. On again, off again. And I'm going to sum this hike up in one or two words: beautiful water. I have seen the beautiful pond this morning. There was another body of water. I'm not sure the name of it right this second. And I have crossed a lot of little footbridges and wooden bog bridges, the wooden planks of death when it's raining. You got to be very, very careful on. And just plentiful of water. Like, I'm standing here. You guys can probably hear it on the umbrella. But the leaves are shiny and the water is just dripping off the leaves. And of course, I am going uphill. But yeah, today has been wet, soggy, boggy, slippery. And at even one point, when I thought it was going to stop raining, the mosquitoes came back out. So maybe they thought it was going to stop raining as well. And one of the beautiful things of walking in the forest all day is when it does stop raining, because the birds are out chirping and singing. And it's a beautiful sound. And it's amazing when you're out here how in tune you can become with the sounds of the woods. And for those of you that spend any time out in the woods, which I'm sure all of you do, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can determine what a squirrel sounds like, what a deer sounds like. You know if a larger animal is coming through the woods, and you just kind of become in tune. And if an animal lets you see it, I think that is a gift. But yeah, today is water. Rainwater, pond water, little creek crossings water. And I have not wanted for water today, which is fantastic. So I am right now, I think 9.5 or 10 miles into the hike. I forgot to check before I hit the button to start recording. But yeah, so sorry, had to finish going uphill there. Now I got a little reprieve before I go downhill some more. So just a few more miles left. 12.1. I know with a couple miles left, I am going to pop out and I think cross 1 or 2 farm fields and then pop out at Tyringham Road. So just a couple miles from Tyringham, y'all. Not much else to say. It has been a wet one, but not a total deluge. Nothing that's not manageable. So I am going to end the podcast here for day number 6 because I got a nice little downhill coming and I want to pay attention. So I think I've got one more downhill, another uphill, Appalachian Trail-esque, and then I'm going to cross over a road, and then I am going to hit those couple farm fields, and then I will be at Tyringham Road, and then I am going to get in the van, get dried out, and spend the evening driving a couple hours up to Vermont, get some good food, and make a plan for those northern Vermont miles. So, y'all, we did it. Section number 1, you can put a big check mark on it from, what's the name of the road? West Cornwall Road in Connecticut to Tyringham Road. Put a check mark on it. That's done. And tomorrow we move on to section number 2 of my 3 sections that I need to complete. So we are 1/3 done. And let me pull out my phone here. And I will tell you, because I forgot already, the mileage to Katahdin. So when I end today, it will be 485.6 miles to reach that sign at the top of Katahdin. So folks, here we go. Thanks for listening. Be safe out there. I'll be back real soon, and happy section hiking.